Picture a radiant Saturday dawn in June 1999. The atmosphere humming with anticipatory vibrancy. Within the expansive lot of Forest Grove High School in Oregon, 24+ young adults, their expressions alight with exhilaration, swarm toward a vivid amber vehicle resembling a classroom on wheels. Merriment cascades as one youth, Jared Fields, activates a portable audio device, emitting the strains of Green Day's poignant farewell anthem, while another, Lacey Monroe, captures a collective snapshot using a rudimentary photographic apparatus. Luggage overflows with provisions, bedding for repose, and visions of nocturnal gatherings beneath celestial canopies. Supervised by educators' reserved chronicler of past events, Mr. Carl Muse, and effervescent attendant, Miss Janine Crawford, the youthful assembly bids adieu to moist-eyed guardians. This excursion marks their ceremonial passage, 72 hours of exploration, aquatic immersion, and liberation from provincial tedium in Forest Grove. Objective? An secluded enclave embedded within Oregon's rogue, River-Siskiyou expanse secluded pathways, vaporous streams, venerable evergreens murmuring enigmas. Yet, as the conveyance trundles along Route 26, dissolving into vapor-veiled thickets, jubilation dissipates. Absence at the designated site, lack of communication signals. Toward twilight, a single caregiver receives an indistinct recording. Subdued amusement, an exclamation, "Silence that device," followed by utter hush. Across 2 decades and a pair, the chronicle of Forest Grove's youthful cohort morphs into a spectral folklore. Nearly 36 adolescents, an unconventional conductor, and a verdant domain that engulfs the inexperienced. 0 cadavers, 0 conveyance remnants, merely reverberations. Until the annum 2021, when an explorer disinters a corroded sepulchre amid foliage, a scholarly transport entangled in verdure, annual publications disintegrating into particles, and skeletal fragments gazing from obscurity. Which force ingested these juveniles entirely? Mishap? Coordinated exodus? Perhaps a clandestine assembly ceremony, concealed within the perpetual verdure of Siskiyou, commence unraveling the pathway toward that pivotal transport, prior to the underbrush contracting. During more than 20 bienniums, the evaporation of Forest Grove Academy's upperclassmen tormented Oregon's serene enclaves, tales exchanged at open flames about afflicted wilds, murmurs of aboriginal essences safeguarding the rogue waterway's curvatures, or alternatively, contemporary terrors skulking in remote settlements. The Siskiyou Dominion, encompassing vast stretches of interwoven fronds, precipitous escarpments, and mist advancing akin to fumes from primordial hearths, has ensnared wanderers previously. However, 36 simultaneously? Absence of debris along thoroughfares? No traces from primitive mobile units or signaling pagers? Solely a provisional operator, Harold Griggs observed, concluding a temporary assignment for an ailing counterpart and 28 existences eradicated. The journey had been orchestrated across numerous lunar cycles. A transitional sacrament, post-formal dances, examinations, and affirmations of tertiary enrollment. Financed via vehicle cleansings and culinary fundraisers, it assured detachment from Forest Grove's industrial hamlet languor, economic wounds from the late 20th century persisting, progenitors adhering to familiarity. Authorizations endorsed, refreshment containers chilled. The scholarly vessel, Identifier 57, procured from regional transport reserves, commenced at 9 ante-meridium precisely. Course video recordings preserve the delight. Tyrese Hall displaying his athletic physique for the lens. Emily Tran delineating the assembly from a pain vantage. Jared Fields orchestrating a satirical cinematic endeavor, dubbed High School's Phantom Pursuit. Miss Crawford brandishes a cartographic guide. Mr. Muse imparts admonitions from antiquity. The arboreal realms possess vision. By midday, macadamized avenues constrict to particulate conduits, haze densifying resembling a pall. The mechanism falters, convulses, ceases far from the intended haven, immobilized. Herein initiates the authentic narrative, or its terminus. To comprehend the calamity, immerse within the corridors of Forest Grove Academy, a robust edifice of metallic compartments clanging and aspirations kindling during the terminal year of the millennium. This assemblage transcended superiority. They embodied universality, disheveled, captivating, teetering on maturity. Leading was Lacey Monroe, aged 18 revolutions, honor graduate with alabaster complexion, and a grin concealing nocturnal diligence. Offspring of municipal leader Thomas Monroe, she balanced administrative roles, rhetorical competitions, and aspirations for prestigious academies, destination Harvard, via merit award. Concealed from view, anxiety episodes seized her. Personal ledgers disclosed the burden. Observers perceive flawlessness. I discern restraints. Companions revered her composure, yet insinuations highlighted the tension. Prolonged evenings, concealing sorrow in lavatory cubicles. Pursuing her akin to an umbra was Jared Fields, the technological savant and perpetual jester, comprising elongated appendages and cunning countenances. Equipped with his recording apparatus perpetually active, he envisioned cinematic studies, documenting adolescent absurdity through coarse visuals. This excursion constitutes my opus, he quipped, gaze astute beyond the optic perceptive, nearly strategic. Peers cherished his disorder. Inflatable cushions in laboratory sessions, fabricated spectral chases within athletic halls. Yet Jared concealed profundities, a fractured domicile, maternal loss to malady in youth, propelling his unyielding levity as protection. Dominating the ensemble loomed Tyrese Hall, 18 cycles. The turf sovereign with expansive torso and a grant for state university athletics resembling luminous signage. From evening illuminations to professional league intimations, he bore anticipations, mentors' accolades, maternal lacrimation at contests, associates' acclamations. Nevertheless, uncertainty eroded. Suppose the arena marked my zenith, he confided to allies amid carbonated beverages. Modest beyond the pitch, he instructed novices, his mirth resounding akin to tempests. Subsequently emerged Emily Tran, the reticent spectator, 17 anims, bearing blemished digits, and a drawing tome adhered permanently. Progeny of Southeast Asian migrants, managing the locale's noodle establishment, she articulated gently, her reveries intense. Likenesses of associates integrated into sylvan panoramas, conifers, contorting like extremities, orbs within timber. They manifest during nocturnal hours, she intoned, her creations foretelling. Seldom central, she circulated the circle. Esteemed for reticence, Jared designated her the arboreal oracle. Completing the nucleus, Rachel McClure, the vivacious squad leader scheming global voyages post-academia. Trevor Callahan, the budding technician adjusting conveyance frequencies during transit. Nina Santos, field athlete with potent strides and boundless vigor. Matthew Delaney, joint summit scholar and oratory predator, citing naturalist philosophers on autonomy. Furthermore, the remainder 26 robust, united via communal feasts, affections disrupted, millennial apprehensions, a tapestry of adolescence precariously positioned. They transcended indestructibility. They represented everyday vitality, susceptible to the sylvan attraction. Midday interlude, 5th of June, 1999. The transport surges into Siskiyou's clasped colossal conifers, eclipsing luminescence, the rogue aqueduct intoning underneath. Mr. Griggs, a seasoned interim with a thermal vessel of infusion and imprecise orientations, maneuvers serpentine deviations. Internally, pandemonium prevails. Jared records admissions. Lacey orchestrates choral renditions to pop ensembles. Tyrese contends physically with Trevor. Emily delineates the transient foliage, her stylus halting at contours within haze. Vapor envelops akin to a shroud. Wireless connections expire. At 16th hour, the apparatus labors, clatters, immobilizes upon an encroached extension, 15 leagues from sanctuary. Lacking space for reversal, Griggs transmits via wireless interference. Youths remain composed. Assistance approaches. Yet durations accumulate. Crepuscular tints, arboreals crimson, nocturnal avians vocalize prematurely. Disquiet advances limbs, rasp resembling talons. Gales insinuate aboriginal narratives of sylvan deities penalizing entrance. A progenitor, Mrs. Elsie McClure, obtains that 1841 recording from Rachel, chuckling, an outcry. Subsequently, void. Sunday aurora. Alarm. Caregivers inundate the academy. Authorities initiate reconnaissance. Rotary craft resonate above. Scent hounds pursue impasses. Absence of tread impressions, no textile fragments. The site attendant vows no scholarly transport materialized. By tertiary diurnal, perimeters broaden. An angler retrieves a fractured portable imaging device from fluvial silt. Negative exposed. Enclosure inscribed with subtle glyphs. Subsequently, no correlation to acknowledged defacements. Decade passage. The Callahans procure a mechanized epistle. Stampless. Achievement attained. Cease inquiries. Script analysis. Imitates Trevor's. Yet oscillations imply replication fabricated? Conjectures blaze. Organized seclusion? Jest escalated? Reconnaissance produces naught, no emissions, no fractures. Pair of lunar phases hence, the inquiry congeals. Irresolvable collective evasion. However, progenitors endure. Yearly remembrances. Placards of absentees fading upon stanchions. Robert Vasquez, Nina's sire, compiles entries of suppositions. Mishap negated. An entity sees them, desires obscurity. Chronology failed to mend. It inflicted cicatrices. Forest Grove transformed into a phantom settlement of suppositions. The Academy inscription radiates. Cohort of 99. Departed eternally recalled. 36 identifiers incised in alloy. Illuminants kindled annually by inheritors. Instructors withdrew tormented. Mr. Muse's successor evades the epic. Quarters stagnate. Lacey's collegiate effigies wrinkle. Tyrese's accolades accumulate detritus. Emily's delineations affixed unaltered. Irene Monroe, Lacey's matriarch, repudiates resolution no sepulcher. Bedding refreshed diurnal. Existence persists externally. Sensation confirms. Vicinage intimates refusal. She terms it conviction. Vasquez's compilation expands. Indications of observations in urban shelters, hearsay of thicket inhabitants. Within Siskiyou, detached enclaves merging bohemian collectives with obscure observances. Commemorations attract visitors. Auditory broadcasts label it Oregon's parallel incident. Sorrow partitions. Certain adherents to optimism secluded survivors. Others fury, nefarious concealment. The wild expanse predominates. Its muteness deriding Siskiyou mythology of canopy sentinels. Aboriginal resonances of departed essences reclaimed by terrain. By 2021, the lesion suppurates, until an explorer disrupts tranquility. 3rd of June, 2021. Travis Milner, liberated guardian from Medford, navigates an uncharted Siskiyou conduit, pursuing isolation post-duty. Tendrils entangle, fronds engulf footwear. A gleam. Amber oxidized, semi-interred in humus, dispelling overgrowth. Identifier 57 materializes structure contorted, panes fractured, vine-laced, rubber discs embedded akin to tombs. Portal yields. Stagnant decomposition. Overwhelms dampened upholstery. Distorted audio reel. Pop melody adhered. Satchels adhered to scaffolds. Images pallid, joyful visages. Presently, phantoms. Athletic emblems from Forest Grove, penned flaccid. At posterior. Toppled frameworks discharge osseous matter. Crania. vacant orbited, limb pillars, interwoven with garb, not solitary assemblage plural. Milner activates emergency line timbre fracturing. It's the youthful collective of 99. Authorities converge. Analytical squads in protective garb inventory the vault. Genetic, divided by dental verifications. 17 relics. Lacey, Tyrese, Rachel, Nina, Matthew, Trevor. Yet 9 adolescents untraced, Emily included, additionally dual pedagogues, Muse, Crawford, and operator Griggs. Conveyance scrutiny astounds. 0 collision trauma scratches indicate intentional traction divided by occultation. No ingress conduit. Manner of penetration 2 leagues inward. Possessions positioned ceremonially. Annual tomes agape at pinnacle likenesses. Encircled via pigment. A ring of footwear central passageway. Beneath operator's perch. Saturated dossier Emily Tran's delineations. Charred vigor. Veiled countenances encircling blaze. Featureless exteriors amid arboreals. Scholarly transport outlined by immense formless colossi. Crimson precipitation aggregating glyphs. Indecipherable. Summoning primordial sigils. Ultimate rendition. Conveyance anterior. Steersman veiled. Orbs abysses. Emily's form? Lacking. Press deluge. Biennial crypt. Kinships. Convulse Irene succumbs at report. Vasquez affirms somber. Affirmed entity appropriated them. Inquiry revivifies. Malicious intent, not fortuity. Delineations disseminate ceremonial intimations kindle. Rationale for 17? Liberated? Interred alternative? The undergrowth concedes nil. Pursuit halts amid brambles. Subsequently, a skeletal individual strides into Bend precinct. 10th of June, 2021. Bend outpost thrums with conveyance agitation. Portal groans. A wraith intrudes, emaciated. Unkempt outerwear tatters. Gaze flitting akin to quarry. Designation Jared Fields. Youthful cohort of 99. Quietude erupts. Corporal Emily Wells, unrelated falters. Verification. He mutters, deflecting. Return prohibited. Observers persist. Digital imprints divided by genetic alignment authenticates. The humorous technician, anticipated perished. 0 structure within transport. Wells interrogates. Existence location across durations? Jared quivers. Disclosure premature. Detection imminent. He dashes enforcers pursue. Yet he merges with avenues. Safeguarded confinement ensues. Jared yields post-diurnal spans. Questioning chamber. Luminescent drone. His orbs tormented voids. All eradicated. He rasps. Opposers. Eternally absent. Chronology disentangles. Transport fails. Immobilized. Haze condenses. Temporal intervals elapse. Ashen-garbed entities materialize. The selected. Detached haven residents. Civilization disintegrates millennial terminus. They proclaim. Tendering succor. Wireless void. Alternatives nil. Juveniles trail into profundities. Enclave. Huts obscured, atmosphere dense. Botanical subsequently. Altered pharmacologically. Serenity curdles. Reformulation discard antecedents. Anonymous, purification observances. Nourishment alters flavor phantasmagoria gestate. Lucid visions of wilds animated, spheres within cortex. Repose rotations imposed. Dissenters dematerialize. Outcries resonate nocturnal. Jared intimates. Offerings to the thicket. Designated for emergent realm. Or surrendered to it. Tyrese contended hold Sylvan. Mute thereafter. Lacey defied oblivion vanquished. Emily? Her delineations echoed protocols. Conceivably, she perceived excess. Pedagogues? Accomplices. Or inaugural. By 2006, Jared evades bindings, departs, conceals amid obscurity, apprehension corroding, believed obscurity, conveyance unearthing, negates. Assembly. Marginal paramilitary bohemians, River-Siskiyou remnants, fusing ecological fervor with esoteric terrain protectors, chastising external violators. 9. Untraced. Converted? Vital in abysses? Jared's utterances splinter the enclosure. Commenced innocuous sustenance refuge. Subsequently. Dominion. The selected. 20 to 30 essences. Frayed vestments. Terran-hued. Chieftain. Patriarch magnetic former warden disseminating doomsday seclusion. Juveniles medicated discreetly fungi. Fabricated essences in broth. Visions militarized. Wilds summon, respond, or perish. Ceremonies vespertine. Assemblies intoning. Emblems incised substrate. Emily's correspond. Dissenters tendered. Conveyed glades. Reintegrated to soil. Jared witnessed. Nina restrained. Vocalization severed. Muse disputing. Muted. Crawford colluding. Fracturing beneath duress. Rationale for transport? Examiners inquire. Jared, they towed it cords, veiled conduits, masked pathways. Griggs? Premier tribute guided us into snare. Liberation 2006. Jared simulates adherence, eludes amid gale dashes 10 leagues, secures conveyance to urban hub, dissipates sub terra. Apprehension. Orbs omnipresent. Selected patrol peripheries. Publication 2022. Thickets murmurs. Commercial triumph. Conjectures proliferate. Enclave assaulted? Fractional. Deserted domiciles. Sacrificial platforms with relics unidentified. Emily's delineations. Prescient alerts? Her destiny? Illustrated forthcoming, appropriated for insights. 9 absent. In lists? Or sepulchres unexcavated? Jared. Wild expanse retains them. It pulses. Society cleaves. Adherents exalt Jared as paragon. Doubters decry fabrication. Psychic distortions. Kinships bifurcate. Irene adheres. Lacey contested vital? Vasquez's entries validated. Press tempest. Assembly devourers? Judicial proceedings absent. Proof tangential. Siskiyou surveillance escalates. Denizens evade profound conduits. Remembrances amplify. 3 dozen illuminants. Annual tomes agape. Forest Grove men's marred inscription. Appends, revelation dawns. Jared isolates. Tormented. Unconcluded. Selected anticipate. Conjectures. Ecological assembly penalizing millennial transgressors. Aboriginal malediction. Siskiyou aboriginal. Verdant engulfer. Or Jared's fabrication for acclaim. Conveyance scrutiny. Emblems align with fin de siècle peripheral factions. Soil recuperators. 9 unrendered. Converted overseers? Heritage. Auditory series resurrect. Oregon's absent cohort. Excursions circumvent transport locale. Presently barricaded. Kinships. Certain proclaim demise. Others pursue. The wilds? Tacit arbiter haze conceals additional? The youthful cohort of 99 transcended mere evaporation. They were designated, purified, appropriated. Jared's susurration persists. Wild expanse scrutinizes. Avoid retrospection. Gratitude for navigating this reverie alongside fractured fate files. Which element torments assembly intrigue, Sylvan being, or Jared's deception? Articulate suppositions beneath. Affirmation if invigorated. Enlist for puzzles forthcoming. Upper Peninsula excavations, terrors. Alert activated. Obscurities agitate. Remain watchful. Until subsequent conduit beckons. Now, envision delving deeper into the milieu that birthed these youths. Forest Grove, a modest community nestled amid verdant hills of Washington County, pulsed with the rhythm of routine. In the approach to the millennium's close, sawmills hummed along the periphery, echoes of prosperous eras when timber barons shaped the landscape. Though by 1999, economic tremors from global shifts had quieted many operations. Families like the Monroes thrived on civic prominence. Thomas leveraging his mayoral role to tout local pride. Yet beneath polished speeches lay the undercurrents of ambition that pressed upon Lacey: endless rehearsals for commencement addresses, volunteer shifts at community centers, all while harboring fears of inadequacy that surfaced in solitary moments. Her closest confidant, perhaps Rachel, would recall Lacey's midnight calls, voices laced with exhaustion, dreaming not just of elite corridors, but of unscripted wanderings far from expectant gazes. Jared's domain contrasted sharply: the cluttered confines of the Academy's media suite, where fluorescent lights buzzed over editing bays, cluttered with VHS tapes and scribbled storyboards. His mockumentaries captured the essence of adolescent folly: seniors pranking underclassmen with fake lottery tickets, promising escape from town's confines, or staging absurd debates on whether Y2K heralded oblivion or opportunity. Yet in quieter edits, Jared's lens lingered on vulnerabilities: Tyrese's furrowed brow post-loss games, Emily's distant stares during lunch periods. His own backstory wove through these films a montage of faded photographs, showing a boyish Jared with a woman whose smile mirrored his, taken too soon by a lingering ailment that left him navigating stepfamily dynamics with wry detachment. Film became his sanctuary, a way to reorder chaos, and the trip represented culmination: a raw documentary chronicling threshold crossings, oblivious to the abyss awaiting. Tyrese embodied the physicality of promise, his locker adorned with clippings from regional championships, shoulder pads from glory days, now relics as college scouts circled, practices under rainy skies forged not just skills but camaraderie, teammates ribbing him about potential pro contracts while he downplayed with humble quips about preferring backyard barbecues to spotlights. Off-field, he volunteered at youth clinics, teaching footwork to kids from millworker homes, his laughter a bridge across generational divides. Insecurities simmered, though conversations with coaches about academic eligibility, maternal pride masking worries over his post-athletic path, a quiet dread that the gridiron's roar might echo into silence. The excursion offered respite, a chance to revel in unpressured bonds before uniforms gave way to uncertainties. Emily's world unfolded in shaded corners of the art room, where sunlight filtered through blinds to dance across pages filled with intricate visions. Her heritage infused her work delicate lines, evoking ancestral landscapes, blended with local motifs of mist-shrouded peaks and riverine bends. Classmates sought her out for yearbook illustrations, unaware her private folios brimmed with premonitions. Peers transformed into ethereal figures amid gnarled roots, expressions blending joy and foreboding. Immigrant's daughter, she balanced familial duties at the family eatery, chopping herbs under fluorescent kitchen glows, while nurturing an inner realm where dreams bridged cultures. Jared's nickname stuck because she seemed attuned to nature's undercurrents, sharing hushed anecdotes of nocturnal inspirations that felt more like summons than fancy. The group tolerated her periphery, drawn to her calm amid their boisterous energy, a subtle anchor in brewing storms. Beyond these luminaries, the cohort wove a rich tapestry: Rachel's infectious energy fueling pep rallies, her travel scrapbooks brimming with glossy brochures of distant horizons; Trevor's mechanical aptitude turning bus breakdowns into impromptu lessons, hands grease-streaked as he fiddled with dashboards; Nina's relentless drive on the pitch translating to unyielding optimism, her playlists a soundtrack of empowerment anthems; Matthew's intellectual fervor sparking late-night discussions on transcendentalism, quoting passages that romanticized wild escapes. Others contributed uniquely: poets penning farewell verses, musicians strumming acoustic melodies, dreamers sketching itineraries that veered into fantastical detours. United by shared milestones, first crushes navigated in whispered hallways, collective sighs over exam pressures, triumphant cheers at seasonal victories, they formed a resilient weave, primed for adventure, yet blind to perils lurking beyond familiar bounds. As the scholarly carrier delves further into the Siskiou's labyrinthine folds, the canopy thickens overhead, sunlight fracturing into dappled patterns on the leaf-strewn floor. Griggs grips the helm tighter, his experience as a part-time hauler lending confidence, though unfamiliarity with these serpentine byways gnaws at the edges. Within, the atmosphere crackles with youthful exuberance. Jared pivots dramatically for his footage, interviewing peers on life after caps and gowns, eliciting responses ranging from Tyrese's hearty boasts about gridiron futures to Emily's contemplative musings on places where time folds. Lacey organizes games, riddles passed rearward, eliciting groans and giggles, while Miss Crawford distributes trail mix, her enthusiasm a buffer against growing isolation. Mr. Muse pores over a dog-eared volume of regional lore, murmuring about historical treks by pioneers who tamed these lands, unaware how the terrain might reclaim its own. Vaporous tendrils snake through vents, carrying scents of damp earth and resinous bark, as the pathway devolves into rutted tracks, barely accommodating the vehicle's bulk. At the critical juncture, machinery protests a grinding whine, escalating to abrupt quiescence, leaving them marooned amid towering sentinels. Griggs emerges to inspect, toolbox in hand, assuring the group of imminent repair, while inwardly calculating distances to aid. Twilight descends swiftly in these latitudes, hues shifting from amber to indigo, the river's distant rush, a mocking lullaby. Discomfort mounts as chill seeps through thin jackets, conversations turning from jests to speculations on delays, perhaps a fallen log ahead, or signal interference thwarting calls. Nez Perce heritage lingers in the breeze, tales of woodland deities who ensnare the presumptuous, their forms blending with twilight silhouettes. That pivotal recording to Mrs. McClure captures a fragment of normalcy, disrupted youthful banter, cut short by an unseen interruption, trailing into electronic void that would echo through investigations. Dawn of the subsequent day ushers urgency. Caregivers converge at the academy, voices rising in chorus as hours stretch without tidings. Authorities mobilize swiftly. Aerial surveys sweeping verdant expanses. Canine units straining leashes along probable routes. Absence of vehicular imprints perplexes trackers. No shredded foliage or displaced stones indicating passage. The Haven overseer, a weathered local familiar with transient groups, affirms no arrival of such a craft, fueling initial suppositions of navigational error amid deceptive mists. Expansion of operational zones yields scant yields until the fluvial retrieval, a battered imaging canister, its contents stripped, surface marred by enigmatic incisions that defy catalogued urban art. Forensic scrutiny later dismisses matches to contemporary tags, hinting at deliberate obfuscation. Subsequent revelations compound bewilderment. The anonymous missive to the Callahans, penned in erratic script, approximating familiarity, yet betraying imitation through irregular pressures, sows seeds of doubt, voluntary seclusion, or orchestrated deceit. Conjectural flames spread through community networks, whispers of youthful rebellion against societal tethers, or entanglement with elusive woodland factions peddling alternative existences. Reconnaissance efforts wane against the domain's vastness. No emissions from rudimentary devices. No indications of tumult. Within 60 days, official designation solidifies as an enigmatic aggregate absence. Files archived amid unresolved queries. Progenitors, undeterred, institute perennial observances, distributing weathered images across public forums, transforming personal anguish into communal vigil. Vasquez's meticulous annals chronicle every lead, from fleeting apparitions in metropolitan fringes to folklore of thicket dwellers, merging utopian ideals with arcane customs, a testament to unyielding pursuit amid encroaching resignation. Temporal progression etched indelible marks upon Forest Grove, transmuting it into a repository of lingering interrogatives. The institutional monument, inscribed with cohort designations amid a dedication to enduring remembrance, becomes a focal point for annual illuminations, successors reciting oaths of solidarity under overcast skies. Pedagogical staff, burdened by spectral presences, opt for premature withdrawal. Substitutes navigate dates laden with historical freight. Their lessons, skirting the void left by absent luminaries. Domestic sanctuaries, petrify in stasis. Lacey's aspirational murals, yellowing on walls. Tyrese's commendations veiled in fine particles. Emily's visionary panels preserved as if awaiting resumption. Irene's ritualistic maintenance daily linens, smoothed. Personal artifacts positioned pristinely, defies temporal advance. Her affirmations of continued vitality, drawing sympathetic headshakes from neighbors who label it steadfast illusion, while she upholds it as intuitive certainty. Vasquez's repository burgeons with annotations, notations of purported encounters in coastal havens, gossip concerning sylvan collectives fusing countercultural havens with esoteric disciplines. Commemorative gatherings evolve into attractions for outsiders, sonic narratives branding the episode as a regional analog to remote tragedies. Emotional schisms deepen, adherence to possibility, envision liberated wanderers, forging new paths, while detractors seethe over suspected malfeasance veiling deeper machinations. The expansive wilds dominate imaginings, its reticence a taunt mythos of arboreal custodians, cultural reverberations of essences reabsorbed by substrata. Entering 2021, the affliction intensifies, culminating in an intruder's inadvertent revelation. Initial of June's third segment, 2021. Travis Milner, emancipated sentinel from nearby Medford, forges through an undocumented Siskiyou passage, yearning for seclusion, following laborious shifts. Creepers clutch, verdant blades immerse steps. An iridescence, citrine, weathered, partially subsumed in fertile mulch. Parting overgrowth, the numeral 57 unveils chassis warped, apertures splintered with climbing flora, circumferential pads embedded resembling crypts. Ingress yields reluctantly. Obsolete malodor engulfs humidized benches, contorted sound cartridge, melodic relic fused, pouches bonded to frameworks, snapshots desaturated ecstatic features, contemporary specters. Emblematic vests from the academy droop slack. Posteriorly, overturned fixtures unleash bony elements, domes, orb, voided. Skeletal extensions entwined with attire. Plural configurations. Milner summons aid. Inflection splintering. Belongs to the adolescent ensemble of 99. Enforcers inundate. Diagnostic crews in sealed garb enumerate the mausoleum. Chromosomal divided by dental authentications. 17 vestiges. Lacey, Tyrese, Rachel, Nina, Matthew, Trevor. Nevertheless, 9 youths, unlocated. Emily encompassed. Moreover, paired instructors, Muse, Crawford, plus navigator Griggs. Transport examination baffles. Nil impact scars incisions propose purposeful hauling divided by concealment. No approach lane. Methodology of immersion 2 distances profound. Belongings orchestrated ritually. Yearly compendiums parted at apex images, ringed by fluid marks. A loop of footgear midway corridor. Beneath navigator's station, dampened portfolio Emily Tran's illustrations. Scorched intensity. Shrouded forms encircling pyre. Blank exteriors among boughs. Scholarly vehicle profiled by colossal, shapeless titans. Scarlet deluge, amassing insignias, untranslatable. Invoking archaic ciphers? Concluding portrayal. Vehicle 4. Pilot shrouded. Spheres, chasms. Emily's physique? Omitted. Journalistic onslaught. Duodecennial vault. Lineages real Irene yields at bulletin. Vasquez concurs gravely. Corroborated force commandeered them. Proceeding reactivates. Sinister purpose, not coincidence. Illustrations disseminate protocol. Hints and flame. Justification for 17? Freed? Entombed diversely? The thicket surrenders zilch. Endeavor pauses in thorny barriers. Thereafter, a lean form advances toward Bend outpost. Decade mark of June, 2021. Bend facility vibrates with vehicle commotion. Entryway sighs. A phantom penetrates gaunt, ragged. Apparel shreds. Vision darting as hunted. Identity Jared Fields. Adolescent group of 99. Stillness detonates. Officer Emily Wells disconnected. Hesitates. Proof? He whispers, parrying. Re-entry barred. Sentinels linger. Biometric divided by genomic correspondence verifies. The jovial innovator. Forecasted deceased. Zero framework in vehicle. Wells queries. Sojourn sight through eras? Jared shudders. Revelation untimely. Capture approaching. He flees pursuer's trail, but he assimilates into thoroughfares. Guarded isolation pursues. Jared capitulates, following daily intervals. Interrogation space. Radiant hum. His sphere's anguish abysses. Entirety extinguished. He croaks. Contesters. Perpetually void. Sequence uncoils. Vehicle malfunctions. Fixed, mist solidifies. Hourly gaps. Slate-cloaked beings surface, the designated. Isolated refuge occupants. Order collapsing epical conclusion. They avow. Extending relief. Signal barren. Choices absent adolescents pursue into chasms. Collective. Shelters veiled. Ambiance-laden herbal. Afterward. Pharmacal tainted. Harmony sours. Transformation abandoned priors. Identityless. Sanctification rites. Sustenance deviates delusions. Incubate. Vivacious phantasms of domains vitalized. Globes enrined. Slumber cycles dictated. Challengers evaporate. Clamors persist crepuscular. Jared confides. Tributes to the brush. Nominated for nascent sphere. Or yielded to it. Tyrese battled extracted Sylvan. Tacit post. Lacey opposed amnesia eliminated. Emily? Her portrayals paralleled edicts. Possibly she discerned surplus. Educators? Collaborators? Or primordial. By 2006, Jared eludes fetters, withdraws, hides within gloom, suspicion eroding, assumed amnesia, vehicle disclosure, invalidates, sect, fringe enforcer nomads, Siskiyou survivors, integrating natural devotion with mystical domain defenders, reprimanding peripheral intruders. 9 traceless, assimilated, thriving in gulfs. Jared's declarations shatter the confines. Inaugurated benign, nourishment, asylum, then sovereignty, the designated, 2 to 3 dozen spirits, tattered raiment, soil-shaded, vanguard, sire, alluring prior guardian propagating cataclysm seclusion, adolescents dosed covertly mycelia, engineered compounds in soup, phantasms fortified, domains invoke heed or terminate, vespertine ceremonies, congregations vocalizing, motifs carved base, Emily's align, challengers bestowed, ferried meadows, reassimilated to loam, Jared beheld, Nina secured, emission truncated, Muse contesting, hushed, Crawford, conspiring, crumbling under coercion, motive for vehicle? Inquisitors probe, Jared. They hauled at strands, obscured roots, veiled traces. Griggs? Initial oblation steered us into ambush. Deliverance 2006. Jared mimics obedience. Slips amid squall, sprints 10 expanses. Procures lift to civic core. Fades infrasurface. Suspicion. Spheres universal. Designated guard margins. Tome 2022. Brushes intimations mercantile success. Hypotheses surge. Sect invaded. Incomplete. Forsaken abodes. Votive dais. With remnants unmatched. Emily's portrayals. Foresight cautions. Her conclusion. Depicted impending seized for perceptions. 9 unplaced. Affiliates or crypts unmined. Jared. Domain preserves them. It throbs. Collective divides. Supporters laud Jared icon. Cynics proclaim contrivance. Mental warps. Lineages split. Irene grasps. Lacey opposed persistent. Vasquez's records affirmed. Journalistic gale. Sect consumers. Legal confrontations. Nil substantiation peripheral. Siskiyou oversight intensifies. Inhabitants circumvent abysmal lanes. Tributes magnify. 36 beacons. Yearly volumes parted. Forest Grove recuperates blemished monument supplements. Disclosure arises. Jared sequesters. Afflicted. Incomplete designated bide. Hypotheses. Natural sect castigating apocal offenders? Cultural hex, Siskiyou cultural, verdure assimilator, or Jared's invention for renown? Vehicle analysis. Motifs correspond with century-end outlier collectives. Substratum restorers. 9 unassigned, converted monitors? Bequest. Sonic Chronicles renew. Oregon's vanished ensemble. Rambles bypass vehicle. Spot nowward enclosed. Lineages. Some announce extinction, others quest. The domains? Mute adjudicator mist veils further? The adolescent ensemble of 99 surpassed simple dissolution. They were nominated, sanctified, commandeered. Jared's murmur endures. Domain inspects, eschew backward glances. Appreciation for traversing this phantasm with fractured fate files. Which facet plagues sect machination, domain presence, or Jared's artifice? Voice conjectures underneath. Endorsement if stimulated, register for riddles. Imminent. Superior Peninsula diggings. Dreads. Notifier engaged. Gloom's agitations persist alert. Until ensuing passage summons. Extend the immersion into the backdrop, nurturing these individuals. Forest Grove. A compact municipality embedded among lush elevations of Washington County, throbbed with the cadence of custom nearing the millennium's termination. Logging facilities droned at fringes, remnants of affluent periods when lumber magnates molded the scenery, although by 1999, worldwide alterations had subdued numerous functions. Households such as the Monroes flourished via public stature, Thomas capitalizing his leadership to extol regional esteem. Yet, beneath refined orations, lurked the flows of drive imposing upon Lacey, ceaseless practices for initiation speeches, charitable duties at social hubs, all whilst nurturing terrors of insufficiency emerging in isolated instants. Her nearest ally, maybe Rachel, would recollect Lacey's nocturnal summons, timbres infused with fatigue, envisioning not solely superior halls, but spontaneous ramblings distant from anticipatory stares. Jared's territory diverged markedly. The disordered precincts of the institution's communication alcove, where radiant fixtures droned over montage stations littered with magnetic tapes and doodled blueprints. His parody films seized the core of juvenile absurdity, upperclassmen teasing juniors with spurious prize vouchers, vowing deliverance from settlement's limits, or enacting ridiculous forums on whether the impending digital glitch foretold annihilation or prospect. Nevertheless, in serene montages, Jared's optic dwelled on frailties. Tyrese's creased forehead following defeat matches, Emily's remote contemplations amid repast intervals. His personal chronicle interlaced these sequences, a collage of sepia snapshots, depicting a juvenile Jared alongside a female whose grin echoed his, removed prematurely by a protracted affliction that compelled him to maneuver blended family interactions with ironic separation. Cinema served as his haven, a method to reorganize disarray, and the outing signified apex, an unrefined chronicle depicting boundary transitions, unaware of the gulf impending. Tyrese personified the tangibility of potential, his storage unit decorated with excerpts from zonal triumphs, protective gear from triumphant phases, now artifacts as collegiate recruiters orbited, drills beneath drizzly atmospheres, forged not merely abilities but fellowship, comrades jesting regarding prospective elite pacts, whilst he minimized with modest remarks about favoring domestic roasts to limelights. Beyond the arena, he aided at juvenile academies, imparting techniques to offspring from industrial laborer abodes, his glee a connector spanning age gaps. Insecurities bubbled. Nonetheless, dialogues with guides on scholarly qualifications, parental satisfaction, concealing concerns over his after-athletic trajectory, a subdued alarm that the field's clamor might resound into quietude. The venture afforded intermission, an opportunity to delight in unburdened ties prior to attire yielding to ambiguities. Emily's universe expanded in dimmed nooks of the creative chamber, where daylight sifted through slats to prance across folios brimming with elaborate apparitions. Her lineage permeated her craft, subtle strokes summoning forebear terrains, fused with indigenous themes of haze-enveloped summits and fluvial meanders. Associates solicited her for annual illustrations. Ignorant, her confidential portfolios overflowed with auguries. Comrades metamorphosed into celestial entities amid knotted origins, demeanors merging delight and omen. Migrant's heir, she equilibrated domestic obligations at the kin diner, slicing aromatics under synthetic culinary radiance, whilst cultivating an internal dominion where reveries connected heritages. Jared's epithet adhered, since she appeared synchronized with nature's subflows, imparting subdued tales of crepuscular origins that resembled convocations more than whimsy. The circle endured her margins, attracted to her serenity, amid their raucous vitality, a discreet stabilizer in nascent gales. Past these beacons, the ensemble interlaced a lavish weave, Rachel's contagious zeal igniting squad assemblies, her voyage compilations teeming with shiny pamphlets of remote vistas. Trevor's engineering prowess, converting vehicle malfunctions into spontaneous tutorials, palms soiled as he tampered with control panels. Nina's indefatigable propulsion on the greensward, converting to unwavering buoyancy, her sound selections a melody of empowerment tunes. Matthew's cerebral zeal kindling tardy evening exchanges on otherworldliness, reciting excerpts, romanticizing untamed departures. Additional members infused distinctly versifiers, composing adieu stanzas, instrumentalists plucking stringed harmonies, visionaries outlining agendas veering into whimsical deviations. Coalesced by mutual landmarks, initial infatuations maneuvered in murmured corridors, unified exhalations over assessment strains, victorious exclamations at periodic conquests, they constituted a durable fabric, ripe for escapade, yet sightless to hazards, prowling beyond accustomed frontiers. The scholarly hauler penetrates progressively into the Siskiou's maze-like layers. The overarching vault intensifies, daylight shattering into mottled designs on foliage-scattered base. Griggs clasps the rudder firmer, his tenure as occasional carrier, instilling assurance, though unfamiliarity with these twisting conduits erodes at peripheries. Internally, the climate crackles with adolescent zest. Jared swivels theatrically for his imagery, canvassing companions on existence beyond tassels and robes, drawing replies from Tyrese's robust declarations on arena tomorrows to Emily's reflective ponderings on locales where duration creases. Lacey coordinates diversions, enigmas relayed backward, provoking winces and chuckles, whilst Miss Crawford allocates nut blends, her ardor a shield against escalating seclusion. Mr. Muse examines a frayed treatise of zonal sagas, muttering about bygone expeditions by trailblazers who subdued these regions, ignorant how the scenery might repossess its domain. Vaporous filaments curl through apertures, bearing aromas of moist substratum and gummy wood, as the route deteriorates into furrowed paths, scarcely suiting the apparatus's girth. At the decisive point, apparatus objects a rasping keen, ascending to sudden stillness, stranding them amid colossal wardens. Griggs ventures out to evaluate, toolkit grasped, guaranteeing the assembly of swift mend whilst inwardly gauging spans to support. Crepuscule lowers rapidly in these coordinates, tones transitioning from golden to violet. The aqueduct's remote surge, a derisive cradle song. Uneasiness escalates as frigidity permeates slender coverings, dialogues shifting from banter to hypotheses on postponements, conceivably a toppled trunk forward, or transmission disruption foiling summons. Aboriginal legacy persists in the Zephyr. Accounts of timberland immortals who captivate the audacious, their contours fusing with eventide outlines, that essential recording to missus. McClure seizes a shard of ordinariness, interrupted adolescent chatter, severed by an invisible meddling, fading into technical emptiness that would resonate through probes. Aurora of the ensuing diurnal introduces pressing need. Nurturers assemble at the institution, timbres ascending in harmony as temporal units extend sans intelligence. Authorities activate promptly. Overhead inspections scanning green vastnesses. Olfactory squads tugging restraints along feasible courses. Deficiency of locomotion patterns confounds pursuers. No rent, greenery, or shifted boulders, signifying transit. The refuge supervisor, a seasoned inhabitant versed in passing parties, verifies no manifestation of such a mechanism, nourishing preliminary assumptions of directional lapse amid illusory hazes. Broadening of tactical perimeters generates minimal harvests until the aqueous extraction, a damaged portrayal container. Its internals denuded, exterior scarred by cryptic engravings that resist indexed municipal aesthetics. Investigative examination subsequently rejects alignments to modern scrawls, suggesting purposeful veiling. Following disclosures intensify perplexity. The unidentified dispatch to the Callahans, scripted in vacillating calligraphy, approximating intimacy, yet disclosing emulation via uneven forces, plants germs of skepticism, deliberate isolation, or contrived illusion. Speculative blazes disseminate via societal meshes, insinuations of adolescent insurrection against communal bonds, or involvement with transient brush factions vending substitute realities. Reconnaissance initiatives diminish versus the realm's immensity. No radiations from basic instruments. No signs of upheaval. Inside 90 sunrises, formal categorization crystallizes as a puzzling mass evasion. Dossiers shelved amid open interrogatives. Caregivers unyielding establish periodic tributes, circulating aged visuals across communal arenas, converting intimate torment into shared watchfulness. Vasquez's detailed chronicles document each clue from transient visions in littoral shelters to hearsay of brush residents, blending idealistic refuges with enigmatic rituals, a homage to relentless quest amid advancing surrender. Duration's advancement inscribed enduring impressions upon Forest Grove, converting it into a vault of persistent inquiries. The educational emblem, carved with group appellations amid a vow to perpetual recollection, evolves into a nexus for yearly beacons, successors vocalizing pledges of unity beneath clouded firmaments. Instructional personnel, laden by ghostly auras, elect for accelerated retreat. Alternates traverse epochs, weighted with chronological burden, their doctrines circumventing the emptiness abandoned by lacking beacons. Residential oases solidify in inertia. Lacey's motivational frescoes fade on partitions. Tyrese's praises cloak in subtle grains. Emily's visionary sheets sustained as if anticipating recommencement. Irene's ceremonial preservation diurnal fabrics, evened, intimate relics, situated impeccably, repudiates chronological progress. Her declarations of sustained vitality eliciting compassionate nods from adjacency, who brand it resolute fantasy, while she maintains it as instinctive assurance. Vasquez's archive swells with marginalia. Records of alleged sightings in maritime sanctuaries. Rumor of sylvan populaces fusing nonconformist retreats with arcane methodologies. Tribute assemblies progress into lures for foreigners. Verbal accounts, christening the occurrence as a territorial parallel to isolated calamities. Affective rifts intensify. Devotees to feasibility picture emancipated nomads, crafting novel courses, whereas critics boil over conjectured wrongdoing, shrouding profound schemes. The broad wilds command visualizations, its quietude a jeer fable of treetop guardians, ethnic undulations of essences reincorporated by base. Approaching 2021, the malady aggravates, peaking in an infiltrator's accidental unveiling. Commencement of June's tertiary portion, 2021. Travis Milner, released protector from adjacent Medford, carves via an uncharted Siskiyou channel, craving detachment after taxing rotations. Vines grip, lush edges submerge paces, a sparkle, lemon, aged, fractionally buried in nutrient soil. Severing vegetation, the figure 57 discloses body bent, openings cracked with ascending plants, rimmed cushions set like mausoleums. Access grants hesitantly. Antiquated putrescence overpowers sodden seating. Twisted melody spool. Tuneful heirloom stuck. Bags fused to structures. Pictures bleached blissful traits. Modern apparitions. Symbolic jackets from the academy hang lax. Rearward, collapsed support spill skeletal pieces. Skulls socket emptied. Bone lengths laced with clothing. Multiple arrays. Milner invokes rescue. Tone breaking. Affiliated with the juvenile gathering of 99. Guardians flood. Probing groups in encased attire tally the crypt. Hereditary divided by dental confirmations. 17 traces. Lacey, Tyrese, Rachel, Nina, Matthew, Trevor. Nonetheless, 9 youths unplaced. Emily enclosed. Furthermore, twin teachers, Muse Crawford and Pilot Griggs. Hauler inspection stuns. Not collision blemishes, gashes imply. Intentional pulling, divided by shrouding. No entry trail. Approach of submersion 2 lengths deep. Items staged observantly. Yearly summaries opened at peak depictions, bordered by liquid traces. A cycle of boots intermediate hallway. Under pilot seat. Moistened briefcase Emily Tran's depictions. Burned fervor. Cloaked shapes circling inferno. Empty facades among branches. Educational hauler contoured by gigantic amorphous behemoths. Ruby cascade gathering insignias undecoded. Calling primeval codes. Terminating depiction. Hauler front. Navigator cloaked. Orbs pits. Emily's build? Excluded. Reporting barrage. Biannual tomb. Descendants spasm Irene folds at dispatch. Vasquez concurs dourly. Verified power sequestered them. Action rekindles. Malicious aim, not happenstance. Depictions circulate. Edict suggestions spark. Basis for 17? Released? Tomed distinctly? The brush yields nothing. Pursuit stalls in spiny hurdles. Then, a slender entity progresses to Bend Station. 10 of June, 2021. Bend base pulses with hauler agitation. Gateway creaks. A shade invades wasted, disheveled, garb fragments. Sight flickering like pursued. Moniker Jared Fields. Juvenile band of 99. Tranquility bursts. Sentinel Emily Wells unlinked. Stutters. Evidence? He breathes, sidestepping. Reversion forbidden. Vigilance remain. Print divided by genetic match ratifies. The merry inventor, projected, expired. Nil, body in hauler. Wells examines. Resident spot across periods. Jared trembles. Unveiling premature. Seizure nearing. He bolts huntsman follow, but he blends into passages. Secured retreat follows. Jared submits after routine spans. Scrutiny area. Glowing murmur. His globes torment chasms. Totality abolished. He gurgles. Defiers. Lastingly empty. Order unwinds. Hauler defects. Anchored. Haze hardens. Time lapses. Ash-mantled figures arise. The appointed. Secluded haven dwellers. Structure crumbling, age closure. They assert, proffering aid. Wave empty. Selections none youths chase into depths. Union. Dwellings masked. Milieu weighted. Aromatic later. Medicinal stained. Conquered curdles. Reconfiguration, relinquish antecedents. Nameless expiation ceremonies. Food diverts, taste illusions hatch. Sharp hallucinations of territories enlivened, balls in peel. Rest turns mandated, rebels fade, yells linger dim. Jared discloses, gifts to the shrub, elected for budding globe, or donated to it. Tyrese clashed, pulled Sylvan, hushed after. Lacey resisted, loss destroyed. Emily? Her renditions echoed decrees. Perhaps she detected abundance. Tutors? Partners? Or origin? By 2006, Jared dodges manacles, retreats, shelters in shade. Distrust gnawing. Thought forgetfulness. Holler revelation disproves. Order? Border sentinel wanderers, Siskiyou survivors, blending ecological passion with arcane terrain wardens, rebuking fringe trespassers. 9 untracked. Integrated? Enduring in rifts? Jared's proclamations fragment the boundaries. Launched harmless edibles, sanctuary. Then, supremacy. The appointed. 20 to 30 auras. Worn garments. Earth-tinted. Forefront. Forebear hypnotic ex-keeper. Spreading ruin isolation. Youths administered slyly spores? Constructed mixtures in stock. Hallucinations armed. Territories hail, obey or cease. Dusk ceremonies. Gatherings chanting. Patterns gouged. Foundation. Emily's coincide. Rebels conferred. Carted fields. Reblended to clay. Jared viewed. Nina confined. Call halted. Muse debating. Quieted. Crawford. Plotting. Yielding under strain. Intent for hauler? Probes query. Jared, they lugged it fibers, hidden trails, shrouded paths. Griggs? Lead homage navigated us into lure. Freedom. 2006. Jared fakes conformity, evades during tempest, hurries 10 realms, gains ride to town nucleus, dissolves under earth. Distrust. Balls everywhere, appointed survey edges. Volume 2022. Shrubs hints. Trade victory. Ideas proliferate. Order stormed. Partial. Left residences. Altar tiers, with fragments unpaired. Emily's renditions. Foreknowledge guards. Her end. Portrayed upcoming captured for observations. 9 unpositioned. Associates. Or vaults unquarried. Jared. Terrain holds them. It beats. Assembly splits. Followers praise Jared exemplar. Skeptics call invention psyche bends. Descendants fork. Irene holds. Lacey rebelled ongoing. Vasquez's logs confirmed. Reporting squall. Order eaters? Court clashes none. Validation marginal. Siskiyou monitoring heightens. Locals dodge profound trails. Honors expand. 3 dozen flames. Yearly volume split. Forest Grove restores scarred emblem. Includes unveiling rises. Jared withdraws, plagued. Unfinished appointed wait. Ideas. Organic order punishing age violators. Ethnic curse. Siskiyou. Ethnic greenery absorber. Or Jared's craft for glory. Hauler review. Patterns match era-end fringe groups. Base reclaimers. 9 unallotted. Converted watchers? Inheritance. Verbal sagas revive. Oregon's lost group. Strolls divert hauler zone. Nowward fenced. Descendants. Some herald passing, others hunt. The territories? Silent decider haze screens more. The juvenile group of 99 exceeded plain fading they were elected, expiated, commandeered. Jared's breath lingers. Territory surveys. Shun rear views. Thanks for journeying this illusion with fractured fate files. Which detail haunts order plot, territory entity, or Jared's ruse? State ideas below. Support if thrilled. Join for conundrums. Approaching upper region excavations fears. Signal on. Dark stirrings, abide cautious. Until next path calls.